Once you get your ass up to date, go out and look for a job. The word today is job. J-O-B.
Next on Watch the Damn Tape, we're going to get into the WNBA Draft, the CBA, and how it's going to affect the draft, and where I think Paige Bueckers is going to go. What it do, peeps? It's the B Chef of Watch the Damn Tape. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. New subscribers, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy the show. Appreciate you watching. Old subscribers, thank you for continuing to help me push this content out and build this platform. I'm going to take you back to last year's draft first, to give you some to lay the groundwork for what I'm about to go with this show. Let's go look at the last year's draft picks. All right. So last year's draft was star-studded. You had Angel Reese, you had Cameron Brink, of course you had Caitlin Clark, the headliner, ESPN, record ratings for a draft, a WNBA draft with viewership. It's not going to be the same thing this year. Now, we saw the draft picks. Now let's see how they fared. As you can see, it's really about the first round. In the 2024 draft, it was about the first round. The second round, most of the players were they didn't even make the roster. Didn't even play in the league. Some of them played overseas. You take, for instance, like Elizabeth Kitley. She had knee surgery in season, so she wasn't going to play. But she eventually got cut, and she's on the camp roster for the Las Vegas Aces this year, and I'm pretty sure she'll make the team. But the thing about it is, this draft, what makes this draft unique, I think the talent in this draft is a little deeper than last year's draft. They don't have the name value and the star power outside of Paige that Caitlin and Angel Reese brought to the game last draft. But this draft, as far as basketball players and being able to land a spot in this league, this is a better opportunity this year for this group of players, and I'll explain why. The first thing I want to go over is the CBA. As y'all know, the players elected to opt out the CBA, and a lot of them it's a chess move. They signed one-year deals in hopes of in 2026, when they finally do settle on a collective bargaining agreement, that they can get a new contract, a longer-term deal at a higher base salary. The only problem with that is this year's draft is deep with talent that can replace a lot of the players that are commanding big money. And if you go back to the WNBA last season, most teams, when it came to play, they played everybody. But when it got closer to the playoffs and during the playoffs, most of the teams in the playoffs went 8 deep. They only played 8 players. If you remember the finals, the Lynx and the Liberty, both teams were wore out because the starters were playing pretty much the whole entire game with limited rest, just the TV timeouts was about it. Napisha Collier was playing heavy minutes. You can tell by the shooting percentages from game 1 to game 5, they just dropped every game. So, with that being said, these players that opted on these 1-year deals, every team's got, in 2026, you can pretty much look at any roster. Unrestricted free agent. I mean, nobody signed except for the people that are on their rookie deals, like Angel Reese or like Alexi Hull, something like that, who's still on a rookie deal. But most veterans are they're banking on getting that big check. And I hate to tell them, if you were players 8 through 12 or 9 through 12 on a roster, those teams aren't going to be paying you buku money. They're only going to be paying the heavyweights, the ones that are really playing. They can put a cheaper player on the roster, and especially if you're an older player, it's another nuisance, because now I can get a 22 to a 24-year-old with this draft, because some of these players are a little older, like Sedona Prince. I can get Sedona Prince at a cheaper price in the second round. I think second round picks are going for like about 60 something thousand, low 60,000s a year to play. I can get any one of these college kids to come in and take your job. And that's why I say this draft is intriguing just from that aspect. And there's some landing spots. Take a look at the number of picks that Connecticut has. Washington has and Seattle has. Washington has 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick. Seattle has a first and 2 thirds. Connecticut's got 3 ones. I mean, so these teams they're gearing up for the future. They're gearing up for the future in a major way, and this is going to be one of those transition years that I've been talking about, where you kind of get some of that old hateful thinking. You're not going to get the old hateful thinking out of this league completely. These ladies are still going to go at Caitlin Clark next year. The media is still going to go at Caitlin Clark. But you can get a lot of this old thinking out of the way. All this old, let's play hard, physical New York Knicks style basketball. Excuse me. You can get a lot of that out with an influx of younger, cheaper talent. And this one's loaded. There's plenty of guards, plenty of forwards. It's not even really to do a mock draft in this. It's pointless. It's pointless. Really, everything really goes to, where does Paige Beckers go, and how much is she going to push? Because she's got enough money to where she can sit out. And according to the WNBA guidelines in their CBA, they even say you don't really have a leg to stand on. I mean, like 2 years. 2 years. 2 years of not playing. And then you would still have to get redrafted. So Paige really doesn't have a leg to stand on. She can say she doesn't want to go to Dallas. I mean, I was hoping that Olivia Miles would be in this draft. I was hoping the Dallas Wings would draft Olivia Miles. Actually draft Paige Beckers, but trade her to Los Angeles. And just, if you're gonna trade Paige Beckers, you must fleece the team that you're playing. You must get picks and players. But once Olivia was out, that left, and then Los Angeles traded their pick to Seattle. Now, one of my videos, a commenter said that South Carolina, Dawn Staley, produces a lot of guards. Here's the top schools and the players from the schools. Check this out. Now, it's a UConn league. Make no mistakes. Uh, South Carolina at the bottom of that list get an honorable mention. So they ain't producing a bunch of W players. So Paige, Paige, if Paige wanted to go to Seattle, Seattle's ran by UConn alums. She's from Minnesota. She could go. There've been rumors about her going to Minnesota. But if you're gonna trade Paige Beckers to Minnesota, what are you getting back in return? I mean, are you gonna get? Are they gonna give up Collier? No. Kayla McBride's in her 30s. I'm not trading Paige Beckers for Kayla McBride. I'm sorry. I like Kayla McBride. You're not doing it. But you'd have to fleece. You have to fleece somebody that's got picks. Seattle's got a ton of picks. Connecticut's got a ton of picks, and like I said, it ain't no use in going over who's going where. But I'll tell you this: if I'm one of these young ladies, I definitely want to get picked by Connecticut. You want to go to Connecticut? You'd want to go to the Sky, Seattle. These teams have a lot of roster space, and they're going to in 2026. These are going to be some of the younger teams in the league. They don't have any veterans. They can rebuild their team with younger players from this draft right now and a few veterans going forward and be good to go. That's why I say this draft is going to be super intriguing, especially with the number of guards and the number of big men, like Michaela Timpson and Sanaya Fagan. You got bigs that are athletic and can move, and they're gonna be on the cheap. And those veterans in this league, they see that. And plus, a lot of these young ladies got leverage. They've been cultivating social media, and they've been building brands. So a lot of them got money. Not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of them come in with a lot of endorsements. I mean, Kiki Irfan just got a shoe deal. There's a couple other ones that are getting shoe deals. There's gonna be some more getting shoe deals, especially with Steph Curry with his line and stuff like that, and the players that he's got on his roster. But this draft right here, it's not gonna get the views. It's not going to get the fanfare. We already know it's going to be a low turnout. I mean, they're charging a grip for the tickets, but they're charging more for the tickets for the draft than they do for most games, which is very weird. But anyway, excuse me. But just those components I thought was fascinating. And you got the new team coming in. So now there's 156 women in the league, and there's a lot of spots. It's a lot of spots open in this one. And I think that CBA and them opting out and a lot of them taking the 1 year deals to try to get, try to be kind of be greedy, really. I mean, yeah, everybody wants money, but I'd rather have stability and steady money than the uncertainty. And on one hand, you got the real world, and in the other hand, you got one of the best part-time jobs in the country, and that's playing in the WNBA. These women, the biggest challenge facing this entire class outside of Paige Beckers. I suspect Paige Beckers takes her lumps in the league, but not to the level that Caitlin Clark took and is going to take going forward, because it ain't going to stop until they get these women, some of these bitter women, out of the league. That's it. The biggest thing I see with this class, you're going to have to finally, if you haven't worked your tail off, you're going to have to work your tail off to unseat a woman of age that has been doing this and does not want to face the real world. That get a job clip from Friday that I played at the beginning of the show, that's what they don't want to do. They don't want to get a job. They want to have this dream job playing in this league until they're about 50. And then they'll retire. But these women are going to have to come in and get serious and understand that these women are not your friends, and this is a job. This is competition at its finest. That's the reason why this league is so petty. They don't like anything new, and they don't like anything that doesn't look like them. And most of the women that are in the league right now aren't that marketable. And you got a new crop coming in every year, and some of them are beauty queens, and they can't stand it. But these women are going to have to work their tails off and compete to get these roster spots. Or if not, you'll just have a bunch of old, bitter women playing in 2025. But those are my thoughts on the draft. I didn't want to do what everybody else is doing the player profile of Kiki Irifin. If you watched college basketball, you pretty much know who can hoop and who's a fake. Don't need to tell you about Sanaya Rivers. Don't need to tell you about Georgia Amore. She's little. She got heart though. She play hard. She gonna make it in the league. Don't have to tell you about Haley Van Leith. Don't have to tell you that some players left and opted out of the draft, and that's going to push up a couple people that might not have should have got in the first round, and some that should have been in the first round. But if you look at that draft, if you go back and look at that draft from last year, you'll see it's a tough league to get into. Just look at the second and third round. And there's some first rounders, say like Alyssa Peely. She might not make Minnesota this year. You just never know. It's cutthroat, and you gotta work your tail off. But if I'm a young player, Dallas, Chicago, Connecticut, and Seattle, and of course the Valkyries. But those teams don't have a lot of players. The Wings, for example, the Wings only have 4 players. 4 players that are making big money. Arike Ugunwale is making $249. Tierra McCowan is making $201. Misha Hines Allen is making $203. Dejanay Carrington's making $200,000. And the next highest person is Nalissa Smith at $91,000. She's still on her rookie deal. Everybody else is a training camp invite, so they don't really have a salary. They can be cut tomorrow, and it don't even matter. But next year, for instance, Dallas will have 9 or 10 spots available. That's crazy. So this is the window. This is the year to get in, play hard, show something, and get your contract this year, and get it. Yeah, you're still gonna be making decent money, but you won't when they start doing the spreadsheet and they start looking at who can we cut off payroll. They can say, no man, let's keep her. She's promising. Let's get rid of this one that's expensive and older. And that's what they look at. This is business. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Let me know. Leave your comments below. Until next time. Peace.